Hi everyone, I'm your host Stephanie. Today we're going to talk about your lighting setups. Lighting can be intimidating. Just ask the poor deer caught in headlights. Without doing a bit of planning, you might try out a lot of different studio lights and setups without figuring out what works best. It's tricky to light your video shoot. There's no denying that. That's why we're here to help. Let's get right to it and find out what the best lighting setup really is.
About 15 seconds. Stand by on 12. 3, 2, 1. Music, mic, yours.
Lighting isn't simple. You have to eliminate all of the shadows while making sure the shot looks pretty at the same time. That's no easy feat. In order to perfect your lighting setup, you'll have to use multiple lights, not just one. Natural light is obviously your best bet for great lighting. It's also free. If your natural light isn't an option for you, you'll have to buy some artificial lights. You could either go for cheap options like clamp lights or more expensive options like professional studio lights. You could buy a medium-priced studio light, or you could even rent an expensive, very professional studio light. The more expensive and the more professional the light is, the more fancy features it'll have. A lot of professional lights have dimmers, wireless controls, and better diffusion, which we'll cover in just a sec. Depending on the shoot you're doing, you won't need to spend money on the most expensive lights, but it all depends on what you're going for, of course. Whatever individual lights you choose, there's one setup that you'll rely on throughout your career. That setup is known as the three-point lighting setup. This setup is created by combining a key light, a fill light, and a backlight. The key light is the brightest and the most important light of this setup. It's going to be directly to the right or to the left of the camera. If you're filming outdoors, the sun can actually work as your key light. This light will do the majority of the lighting work. The fill light is used to eliminate the shadows created by the key light. It'll be placed at a side angle closer to the subject. It should never be as bright as the key light, only bright enough to eliminate the shadows. If it's too bright, it'll produce a flat-looking shot that has too much light. The backlight is going to be placed behind the subject. It'll make sure that the viewer can distinguish the subject from the background. If you complete your three-point lighting setup and the shadows are still too hard, you might need to use a diffuser. Diffusion helps to spread light more evenly, which then creates a softer light. When you're using cheaper lights, like clamp lights, you can buy diffusion paper and tape it over the light. On more expensive, more professional lights, diffusion material might be included. The most expensive lights will have the best diffusion features. Don't worry. The improvised diffusion tactics on cheaper lights will still do the trick. Once you complete your setup, take a look at your subject through the camera's lens. That's the best way to see if your lighting is the way you'd like it to be, because it's how your viewer will see it. Remember to make adjustments, move your lights around, and get the best lighting possible.